spring. It's time for another episode of Crossplay Conversations, the show where we dive deep on the world of video games while keeping it light. I'm your host today, Jacob McCourt, and I have three friends with me. The first friend, your friendly neighborhood podcaster, it's Luke Lewis.
Howdy, gamers. I'm ready to get spooky.
Our second friend, the cozy queen, Claire Lewis. Hello.
Hey. Spooky but cozy.
And our third friend. Sorry, what was that, Claire?
I just said spooky but cozy.
Spooky but cozy. The spooky cozy queen. And our third friend, Joseph Hooper, the sneaker savant. Hello.
What's up, everybody? Today, I have this little phone jib in the shot. That's my special thing. Honestly, fun fact, this is the jib I used to propose to my now fiance.
Wow.
I caught the footage on this thing right here. So,
why is it there? Is my big question.
That's a fun fact. It's because last night I was recording a YouTube video and I was getting footage of a controller that I was recording. Yeah,
What you doing over there?
I'm doing a YouTube short with a controller.
Cool.
This is like the first time I've made a video in a long time, so
Sick.
stay tuned.
It's awesome.
Love it. Well, hey, this is not a podcast about controllers today.
No.
We're talking about spooky video games since it is almost Halloween. But before we do that, we have our icebreaker question, and it's thematically appropriate today. My question for y'all, what video game would you like to dress up for as Halloween? Oh, words are hard today. What video game would you like to dress up as for Halloween? Anyone have an answer?
I have an
I think
immediate
you
answer
scared this
because
question.
I proposed the question. A couple years ago, I believe we were all there for this, but at a PAX, we saw someone cosplaying as Raz from Psychonauts, and it was just a really sick cosplay. And in my head, I was like, that's not too complicated of a cosplay in terms of like no like armor, crazy building involved. So I would throw out Raz from Psychonauts because I think I could pull that off. Get the little aviator cap going, some goggles, cool jacket. I already have some Psychonauts patches, so that I'm halfway there. That's my immediate
That'd be
answer.
sick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Low budget,
Yeah,
too.
not too bad. Reasonable.
too
That's
bad,
where
not
I
too
go
bad.
with Halloween costumes. Of like, I like cool vibes, striking, but nothing crazy. Low key.
Claire?
In the vein of cool cosplays we've seen around that I always thought would be really cool if I had like the mental energy and like effort to put into it. I always love seeing people dress up as Cody and May from It Takes Two. That would always.
Those
and
are
I feel
really
like we could pull
cool.
that off, and that would
Yeah.
be really cool. So
That's a good call.
yeah.
You know, I always like to pick black characters for things. For video games, I don't want to be Barrett from Final Fantasy. Maybe like Colt from Deathloop, I would choose. If we're just picking any character, maybe a Cloud costume. I always loved the Cloud costume. So
Giant sword.
giant Buster Sword really is the only reason
Hell
to
yeah.
do it.
It's hard to
So
go wrong.
yeah.
Would you be surprised if I said my idea is actually giant sword themed also, or there's a giant sword connection?
Yes,
so I
I
just
would
played
be.
Sword of the Sea a little while ago.
Oh,
And I do not want to be the character from Sword of the Sea, but I
Okay.
do want to be the character from the game that inspired Sword of the Sea. I've always wanted to be character from Journey because I feel like you, Luke, it's a relatively easy costume. Like you just got to figure out the right sort of Afghan blanket to wear, and you've done it. And so yeah, that would be my pick is character from
Oh, yeah.
Journey.
Nice.
Nice.
I have a general follow-up question for you guys.
Sure.
When
Yes, of course.
you're doing real life Halloween, how much does it influence your decision to pick something that people can recognize? Because I feel like that's always a tough thing where
Yeah.
you're like, I would love to be this obscure TV show or video game character, but nobody will know at all what I am.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like a lot of my characters I would love to dress up as, it's all like plain clothes, like normal clothes. No one's gonna
Yeah.
know.
Right.
They're just gonna think you're wearing regular clothes. So
Yeah.
Well, as context, I'll spoil Claire and I's upcoming couple's Halloween costume for listeners. You'll get a first-hand look. But I suggested involving a last-minute prop to make it so blatantly obvious. So we're going as the two doctors from Jurassic Park because we visited the set in
Okay.
Hawaii during
Okay.
our honeymoon. We're
Solid.
very into
I
it.
already have the outfit. so.
It's 90% things we already own, but then I ordered a dinosaur hand puppet that looks like
That's
the
good.
T-Rex from the movie, just to like seal the deal, make it very obvious and clear what the heck we're doing. But to your point, I was worried about that because otherwise I feel like it just looks like we're wearing clothes. Like,
yes. Yeah.
somewhat everyday clothes, aside from I don't really wear like a safari hat regularly. That's the one thing that was like the new
You
addition.
don't?
Yeah, no.
I thought I remember you
big
wearing
hat guy,
one last
but
time I
not
saw you. Okay.
not hitting
Okay.
the savannah, generally speaking.
Okay.
But
I feel like the best thing is when you put just a little bit of thought and like $20 in.
yeah,
That's the best costume.
Yeah, I agree.
As far as Halloween costumes go, I'm more of like a one for me, one for them kind of thing. So I have been Master Chief once, and like that's a clearly for them costume. But if I ever do dress up again, it's been weird. That, like since COVID, I've not dressed up for Halloween a single time. I don't know if my heart died with COVID, but maybe that's what it is. But I think the next time I dress up for Halloween, I'm gonna give it my whole heart and also pick exactly what I want.
hell yeah,
Nice.
Love it.
Okay.
Good vibes.
All right, y'all. Well, today we're talking about spooky games. We did this format, a long time ago when we built our list of essential Nintendo Switch games. You should go check that episode out. It's in the teens. I think it's 16, 17, 18, somewhere in there. But essentially, that's a great episode. This will also be a great episode where we're going to list out our favorite spooky games. I think we decided on a list of 13 just to make it thematically unlucky. Woo! So I'm going to pull up the doc, but essentially we're just going to go round robin style and then share a bunch of games until we get a relatively good list, and then we're going to cut it down to 13. This is not going to be the most extensive of lists. I'm sure there would be blind spots on this list, but before we get into the list part, I need to ask the question, how do you fare with spooky games? What is your favorite kind of spooky game? Hoop, I'd love to start with you.
Great. I'm very happy you started with me because I fare terribly with spooky games. I can't do it. Like there are very few spooky games that I've actually played to completion. So I need games. If I'm going to play it, I need a game that is not spooky in intent. It needs to be a side effect. All right. And I'll name a few when we get into it that are exactly that. But when we're talking about real spooky games, I only watch playthroughs. Like, even if I am super excited to check out Resident Evil Village, I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to watch somebody play it because I can't. The sound, it's really the audio that gets me. If I'm wearing headphones and it sounds like something's behind me, that messes with me psychologically. I can't do it.
That is fair.
All right. I think I know where we all fall on the spectrum, so I'm going to start on the not good. Claire, how are you with spooky games?
Yeah, I'm definitely the same of like, if it's actually scary, I'm not playing that game. I'm watching Luke play that game, or I'm not experiencing it at all. I think there's a difference for me between like spooky and scary, and for me spooky is a little more cutesy, a little more like ambient, vibey, you know.
What about
Almost,
the atmosphere?
Yeah, I don't know. You think about Halloween and how there's like costumes and leaves and pumpkins and fall vibes, and then there's like hardcore haunted houses where people get heart attacks. My Halloween is over here, and so are my spooky games. So
Love it. Luke, you playing more of those spooky games in your
You
household?
know, I am. I think I've grown up into somewhat of a horror sicko. I wouldn't put a friend of the show Mike Towndrow, I would say, is like resident mayor of horror town. I am not there
Creepyville.
of Creepyville,
I think, like,
respectfully.
relative to
Like
me,
he
for sure,
he
but,
loves
like,
that title
yeah.
and owns that title. You know what I mean? But I dabble, and I think
yeah.
we'll get into some of my picks, but I think if a game has a compelling story, if there's an interesting gameplay loop, whether it's cool puzzle solving or the setting in particular really get me, like I will suffer through a fair bit in order to see an interesting experience. So yeah, I would say I consider myself a horror fan these days. It's an automatic. My interest is piqued. Tell me more, and then we decide if it's too much, or that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, I guess that would make me weirdly by default, I guess, kind of our resident spooky horror fella. I tend to not play the creepiest stuff, the most like psychologically haunting kind of game, but I do jump into my fair share of horror games. I think it's fair that we maybe define what's on this list. Claire, I love your thought around sort of expanding our thought on horror and spooky. That even if a game has like thematic, like psychological scares, we should maybe consider it. But in my mind, it's our list. We can do what we want to. But this shouldn't just be straight up horror games. It's also stuff that has haunting atmospheres.
Yeah, and that like most of my picks are in that realm and not.
Would it be fair to say like best game to play in the month of October? Kind of blanket statement of like I'm just thinking about this as we're chatting about it, but just like so it does encompass that because I think I definitely have some picks on my list that are like this is a straight up scary horror game, and then I have picks where I'm just like this is just like a nice fall vibe that I think fits the tone. But we can, as we're putting together the list, maybe they don't hang against true scary.
Night in the Woods.
Yeah.
Does Night in the Woods end up on this list, or does it not end up on this list?
Claire has it on
to me is
her.
the stalwart.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a conversation.
Vibes,
we might get to it where
game.
it's like that's number 14, and we're like these feel more representative. But I think it's definitely.
I think that's
a
one of
reasonable.
Honestly, one of the first
pick.
ones that comes to mind when I think of like spooky vibes or even just like fall vibes video game. It's like. That's up there.
That's an interesting example too, though, because the tone of that game, like it's not inherently like happy, cozy. Like there are like cozy things about it, but it is like existential
underpinnings a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so it sounds like we're shifting this list to best games to play in October.
Did I break the list?
Which you made the list better, my friend. Where it is now spooky, horror, fall vibes. That's what's on our list. Great. Cool. It sounds like we are settled here. So let me share my screen. And what I'd love to do is maybe first hear from Claire on her first pick for our list.
Okay. I put my list together in no particular order. So the first one that I am gonna offer.
Here we go.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
The first one I'm gonna offer. Aside from Night in the Woods, does that count? Because I definitely have that on my list.
Yeah, why don't you start with Night in the Woods, and you get a bonus pick.
Okay.
You get 2.
Let's start with Night in the Woods. So, I feel like Night in the Woods has that perfect autumn vibe. There's a little bit of like homecoming. It's unsettling. There are like the underpinnings of like something's going on here. Maybe there's a little bit more than meets the eye, and I think that's an inherently spooky thing. But it also has, those cozy elements too. So I think I don't know. I think it encompasses like the month of October. Night in the Woods feels like the month of October for sure.
Excuse me, Miss Lewis.
Hi.
For people that have not played Night in the Woods, can you give a synopsis on like what that game is? me, I haven't played it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So Night in the Woods is I'm gonna actually pull it up so I can look at some of the more details I might have forgotten. Came out in 2017. It is a kind of story-based adventure game. You're walking around interacting with other characters. You are playing as a cute little kitty cat. It's got this, I think, spooky, cozy, adjacent art style where the hand-drawn characters are kind of like minimalist. They got the really big eyes, so that can be kind of cute, but also spooky if it's a little bit too like Uncanny Valley almost. So I think that's definitely part of the aesthetic here. But you are playing as May, returning to your hometown to find out all the ways that it has changed and kind of reconnect with different characters and like relationships that have changed over time and kind of just see all of the different ways your hometown has changed. And sometimes it can be kind of bleak. But then other times it's just life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Depression.
Yeah,
and
there is
fall.
definitely a mental health aspect of it too.
I was gonna say it's like at the surface level you see it and you're like anthropomorphic cozy animal game, but it's like it is very adult themes.
Thematic,
it is like very like it's just it's an interesting game, and I think the added layer of depth I think makes it hang potentially amidst a more like thematically traditional like horror spooky experience. Yeah, cool.
Claire, that was your bonus pick. So what's your real first pick?
Oh, okay. My real first pick.
You get 2 years special today.
Awesome. I will throw out Bakura next. From
Okay.
Toko Reniori. So Bakura, we've talked about it a couple of times on various pods, is a 2-person co-op game where you are supposed to, you cannot look at each other's screens. You're not supposed to play it like couch co-op split screen. And each player sees a different version of reality, and you two are basically transported into this very creepy world. So I would definitely put this in the category of creepy, especially like certain points to the extreme. So one character sees a more like mechanical world, and then the that is just like kind of like post-industrial almost, like robots took over the world and now it's all in decline. And then the other person sees a world that's very cutesy, except for a couple of random moments where something really gruesome will happen. And there are a couple of moments that are just like, oh, that's disgusting, or oh, that's kind of freaky. And there's like, it's a precision platforming elements and puzzle solving game where you're trying to figure out how to navigate the world to get to the end and escape this like twisted reality you've ended up in. But it's also like this pixel art style that is like at times just kind of cutesy. The music is really ambient, so I wouldn't say it's necessarily, it's not a horror game. It's not really scary except for a couple of kind of jumpy, spooky moments. So I definitely think it like hangs with spooky games, but it's also more like thinky and thematic and not actually scary. I guess that's how I would put it.
There are some disturbing moments, though, where you're like,
for
oh
sure.
wow, this is unsettling.
Yeah,
this isn't
like there's like an
comfy.
elevator
Yeah.
that you have to activate, and I was the mechanical player, but we did play in the same room, so I sometimes would like look over my shoulder, and there was like, you get the dog to follow you on Luke's screen, you get the dog to follow him, and they stand on the dog's back, and then the dog just like spine breaks out of his back and extends, and like the dog dies.
Nope. No thanks.
So there are some like definite like gruesome moments. Yeah. It's a weird game. Very cool.
And the
Big
sequel to that one just came out
Yeah,
earlier
we
this year,
haven't played
Bakura Planet.
That one yet.
So, timely one as well.
Love it. Luke, what's your first pick for this list?
I think I'm going to go with a game that straddles this line we're talking about of has some cozy elements, but also is a little scary. Dredge, I'm going to throw out for
okay.
this
Oh.
list. For folks that haven't played it, you control a little tugboat going out into the ocean. You're fishing, you're coming back, you're selling your fish, and then you're slowly upgrading your boat as you find things and explore and unlock new areas. Very in that realm of like fall vibes, autumn aesthetic, but the day-night cycle that you encounter, it's scarier and more dangerous to go fishing at night. You encounter scarier fish, and it kind of has this whole little bit of Lovecraftian aesthetic to it. So it is spooky, but it also is cozy because you have this cute little tugboat. But the game's awesome. It's one of my favorites in recent years, and it is one of those ones that I do like to revisit during the fall. So
Yeah.
just gonna throw out that one.
I love the sounds.
Yeah.
The sounds are very
Sounds are good.
spooky too.
And like the
Okay.
just the music is wonderful, but it just has this element of like you never feel fully safe. So I would never call it a cozy game, but it is less. It's like dipping your toe into survival horror. I feel like in a approachable way.
It's like what we called Claire at the top of this, spooky cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely
Like
one.
if Miniko's Night Market is here, Dredge is on the other side of
Sure.
the spectrum.
That's definitely one where it like activated my spidey senses of like, do I need to turn this off? It's like, nah, I'll just go back home and wait for the day-night cycle to kick in. But it definitely like, you see some weird stuff at night that makes you a little bit unsettled if you are a little baby like me.
Hell yeah.
Joseph, you're a little baby. What's
I
your
am.
little baby October game?
All right, I'm starting with my heavy hitter this might be one of the first scary games that I was introduced to. It's not really a scary game, but we're going to start with BioShock, all right?
Ooh,
this is
okay.
one of my
Hell yeah.
all-time favorite spooky games. For people that don't know, the original BioShock is kind of like you are plopped in this underwater utopia, dystopia type situation, and you're kind of just trying to figure out what's going on, like getting to the bottom of this whole Andrew Ryan, Adam type situation. Very interesting. This all started even before I got my hands on the game when I saw the original trailer. I don't know how many people remember that trailer, but it is a video of a dude in, I forgot, Atlas, which is the underwater, like, BioShock area, and bees are coming out of his hand, and he's fighting a Big Daddy, and he's getting all stabbed with the drill and everything, and it was just very gruesome and horrifying. And the game 100% captures that atmosphere where you're walking around this place, and you have these kind of, like, drugged out, like, civilian people on this atom that they're popping out of any which way. There's a lot of jump scares, but the world is really, really intriguing. So I watched a playthrough, I think twice of it before I actually bought it and then played it through myself. But I love it. That's definitely one of my all-time favorite games, and it being spooky is just kind of like a side effect. That's kind of nice for the atmosphere of the game.
How recently, this is a poll for everyone, when's the last time y'all played BioShock? Because I for sure played it. I played it twice, and I think I played it 6 or 7 years ago, and I would have played it on 360, and I know it's been remastered, but has anyone played it like in the last 5?
I think I played it when it came to PS4, Xbox One, in like the collection bundle.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, oh gosh, I still feel like though that's like 7-8 years ago. So it's been a minute.
I would imagine it still holds up today.
Yeah, 100%. I would have to guess it does as well. Assuming it doesn't just like look like absolute dog water, I'm sure it holds up.
Because I mean, the gameplay itself would still be fun, and yeah. To your points, Joseph, I love the first BioShock. I think it's just such an interesting game, and it's so weird and unusual. And I think it's one of the first games I ever played where I was like, I don't understand what I'm playing, but I'm intrigued to find out. And you know, that was one of the first experiences with like every game after it did it where you find audio logs and things as you're exploring, but that was such a novel concept at the time that informed what was going on in the world, and you're finding all these fucked up situations and piecing it together, and yeah, very good.
Crazy plot twist at the end as well. Iconic plot twist.
So we're at 4. Let me add one to the list, and I think this is probably the scariest game that we have so far on the list. I would like to add The Quarry onto
nice.
this list.
Oh.
That's on my list too. So.
Yeah.
Has anyone here played? Oh, it's on your list too. Okay, let's
played
tackle this together then. The Quarry is, I think it's a controversial pick. Supermassive's best game. I think only from the fact that the performance capture and the acting is quite good. It looks great, and the gameplay is also good. I think they've refined their formula to a point where if they, instead of putting out the Dark Pictures games, which I really love, if they wanted to spend 3 years and make The Quarry every 3 years, I'd be their day one forever. It's really great. I think it's replayable. It is so good for October. Claire, did you guys play that one together?
I think we actually traded off the controller each chapter.
Yeah, that one we like. I think that was the first time we kind of did that, where it was more of like both actively
and that was like
playing.
That was our evening activity while we were playing that game, where we would just sit down and we would play it and talk about it, and like that was for a couple of days or like a week there. And we played it in the summer because we wanted to get that like summer camp vibe. So for me, this felt like strange to put on the list just because I associate it more as like a summer game, like set at a summer camp. But I think it definitely hangs with the spooky games just because of what it's about and how it all plays out.
And I agree with you, Jacob. I think this one plays the best. Like, I think the gameplay things you're doing work the best, and on a technical level, I think it runs quite well, looks really good, all of the above.
and the cast list is really great. And they even do twists to the formula of the Supermassive game where we always joke, I guess, spoilers for Supermassive's games as a whole. Typically, you play the tutorial, and in the tutorial, your character dies. That's just the way that they kind of contextualize and say, hey, guess what? You might die here, and there are consequences to your actions. And in that one, there's a fun twist on that formula, which I will not spoil, but you can kind of see where that's going. I am playing the casting of Frank Stone right now.
Nice.
Jess and I just started it last week. And it's, I think, the only Supermassive game I have not played. And to me, that just shows, because that's the weird Dead by Daylight like collaboration title that I think you can play without context on Dead by Daylight. But definitely you can tell that the production value, there's such a delta between that game and what the Quarry is.
Interesting.
So more Quarry, please.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The Quarry was the first one where you could do kind of the audience participation phone thing, almost Jackbox style, or am I making that up?
Yes. However, I believe they also did, if I'm not mistaken, Hidden Agenda on PS4, which is that weird Playlink. Is that what it was called?
I think that was that series of games.
Yeah. So I think apart from Playlink, that might have been the first one that had it.
I was just thinking, once we have our full list and we're kind of debating, there might be some argument to certain games like that where if there is a multiplayer element or like a multi-person participation thing, might be good to represent that for the most well-rounded list. But yeah, great pick.
Love. Claire, you're up for your third pick.
Awesome. I'm just trying to like strategize which ones to throw out first.
Well, I figure what we'll do is we'll do some longer, like, hey, these are our faves, and then we'll do a speed round before we start cutting.
Sounds good. I am gonna throw out one that I hear the music of this game and I immediately think, oh, it's October, it's spooky season. I see pictures of this game and I'm like, I get to September and I'm like, I gotta play this game again. This is Cult of the Lamb. Which I'm surprised it's not on our list yet. Cult of the Lamb, the dungeon crawling aspect, the little monsters you see in the dungeon, very great, very good. Just like the world and the ambiance it's peak spooky. You've got there's like the eldritch horror underpinnings of the entire thing and like the blood coming out of the eyes and all that stuff. But it's also cute as hell, and your little villagers are running around with their little emotes, and like getting married and eating their poop, and it's just, I think that is like, that's peak cute, but also weird Halloween. Like, that's the Halloween that I love. So yeah, Cult of the Lamb.
Love.
Awesome.
Luke?
I'm going to throw out a scary one.
Okay.
It's my favorite. This is the game where I was scared the most, but I absolutely couldn't stop playing. Alan Wake 2, I think, needs to be on this list. I think exceptional storytelling, one of the most visually impressive games I've ever played. The mystery just kept unfolding in interesting ways. We did a big spoiler cast on this pod, Joseph and I, with friends of the show, Matt Storm and Katie Lesperance. We could have talked for hours. Like, it's just such a cool, interesting game, and it's skyrocketed to one of my favorite games of all time. I think about it every fall. It's another one where the setting of the game itself is fall vibes as you're solving this town murder, FBI. Such a great game.
I
still need to
jump in
play
on
that,
this,
man.
because Alan Wake 2 was also going to be one that I was going to throw up. In the spooky vein, this game really messed me up because
This game is scary.
when we're talking about audio,
Scary, yeah.
this game is crazy with audio. There's a lot of like apparition type people who are teleporting around the screen and like are very like possessed acting, and
they're
lighting.
speaking to you.
They're speaking to you. They're saying "wake" over and over again. The graphics are incredible, so it just makes it that much more immersive with the lighting and everything. This was definitely one where I would play a chapter and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
Even if that chapter was
Can't
5-10
play it,
minutes, I was like, I gotta stop. Yeah.
Specifically the Alan levels later in the game, like,
Yes.
oh my god, Claire would come out and I would literally be like, shouting out of terror, which is a rare thing when I'm playing games, but I couldn't stop.
Yeah, this is one where I was like, this is too scary for me to even watch.
I had to like call you in. I was like, Claire, can you sit with me?
Yeah.
Do this
Like there was one night where you wanted me to sit with you and watch you play a little bit right before bed, and then I had nightmares the entire night, and I woke up and I was like, we can't do that again.
Yep. Broad daylight Saturday morning
Yep.
game.
If you want me to watch
That's
that
what
game,
that
you gotta
became,
do it in the middle of the day.
So Alan Wake 2 was stolen from you, Hoop. So what's your pick?
Yeah, my pick is going to be one that was near and dear to my heart last year. That's Crow Country.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
This game, I remember I bought it one day randomly on October, and I played the whole thing within like a night, essentially. This game hooked me like no other. It is the perfect, like, not too scary, but still a little bit haunting type vibe. It's very like campy Resident Evil, where I think, let me take a step back. For people who haven't played it, it's kind of about this person / detective going to this abandoned theme park and trying to understand what happened to the owner of the theme park who mysteriously disappeared, and hijinks ensue or whatever. But there are like otherworldly creatures, like zombie-like creatures in the game and everything. And it's a retro art style, which kind of disarmed it for me. It made it playable. But the story is very good. And I think like the juxtaposition with comedy is also one of my favorite things. Like the comedy, the puzzles, and then like the scares are all kind of like perfectly balanced in that one. Highly, highly recommend it.
That's a great pick.
there's been a lot of these like PS1 vibe games that have come out in the last little while.
Yeah.
Do you have any other like honorable mentions that fit that, or is Crow Country the only one that you've played as a little baby?
Yeah, Crow Country is the number. Actually, I do have another one, but it's also on my
Did
list.
you play Signalis?
That was gonna be it. That was gonna be it.
Look at
Signalis
that.
is definitely one of those where like this game is kind of fucked up a little bit. Like I don't even. This is the one that broke the barrier of yes, this is pixel art, but it's still creepy enough to where I am still very unsettled. So Signalis is definitely more cerebral and weird and scary because you have no fucking clue what's going on, and there's no comedy at all. But I know people love Signalis. I enjoyed it a lot when I played it, and it is classic. What do they call them? D-makes or something like? I forgot what they call the retro PS1 style games. This is probably at the top of the list of scary retro games.
Nice.
Yeah. Jeez.
That's your bonus pick. There you go. Signalis on the list.
You.
Hey, you're welcome.
Can you turn this list to the numbered list too, so it's easier to know?
Oh yes, yes, to know how many we have. Look at you being smart and shit.
Thank you.
Let's do that. There you go. We're at 9.
Okay.
So I feel like I have to be the dude to bring the scares, and so why don't I hit us with Soma?
Ooh, that was on my short list as well.
Soma is probably one of my all-time faves. It came out somehow like 10 years ago at this point, but it is a game that I don't even really want to spoil the concept because it's so cool, but essentially your character ends up, how can I not spoil this, in like a research station, and your job is to just kind of explore the research station and figure out why the heck you're there. Not only is it spooky, but for folks who like don't like to be jump scared and potentially killed, there's like a safe mode where you can't die and you can just kind of like go about your business, and sure there are adversaries, but you will never die, so you don't have to worry about it. But beyond that, the story and the writing is fantastic, and it's one of those games that leaves you afterwards, almost like BioShock, how we spoke about. There's questions in this game, and there are, perspectives that just stay with you and moments that stay with you. So even 10 years later, this one comes from Fractional, who I think is the team who did Amnesia.
Yeah.
I've never played Amnesia. I really want to someday. So it will not be on this list, I would imagine, because I'm probably the only sicko who would play Amnesia, because that is a messed up video game, a messed up series of video games. But yeah, Soma is the number 10 I want to throw on here.
So I'm hanging with you with the sickos that have played Amnesia / Soma.
Hell yeah.
Hell
yeah.
I think Soma is the best in this, like, we'll call it the subgenre of evading enemies, no combat, narrative focused horror thing, if that's fair. But yeah, this game's rad. The story's real cool. The setting's awesome. So tense. If you want that experience of like hiding in the dark, maneuvering, this is a great one.
I gotta play this one. I was recently listening to a podcast like a week or 2 weeks ago where they were saying this might be one of their favorite games of all time.
I think this is a Hooper game. Honestly,
I gotta check
Yes.
this
like
out.
I think you'd really dig it.
Fun fact:
You
I
should
watched
play
a
this in
playthrough
like
of it.
January or February.
I watched a playthrough of it and I completely forgot
shoot,
everything I
really?
saw.
That's
so
wild.
I can go into it fresh.
Right on.
Love it. So we're at 10. So Claire, let me come back around to you, and then maybe we'll do one more pick each, and then we'll start to do a little speed round.
Sounds good. I'm gonna throw out one that I feel like doesn't inherently scream October, but for me it does feel spooky, and I think it stems from like when it came out and what I associate it with more necessarily than the game itself, but there are definitely some psychological horror elements in this game, even though it appears very cutesy on the surface. This is Bug Snacks.
Oh,
Oh,
Which
okay.
gets very weird, especially at the end. It came out in November, right? With the launch of the PS5? Am I remembering that right? Or like late October?
Yeah, I think it was a
yeah.
day one launch. Yeah.
And so it was during COVID. Am I misremembering that?
Nope.
It was during COVID. So I don't know. I just associate it with like that was the activity that November because there was not a lot else going on. And a couple years ago, I make a little playlist for every season of the year, every year, and I had a song that I was like, this song is peak autumn vibes, and I cannot put my finger on why, because it's like not you wouldn't think it was, and then I was like, oh, it's because the synth sounds like Bug Snacks, and I just I have that association with that synth now. I think that like aesthetically, visually, not super October-y, but the way it gets really weird at the end, I definitely think can hang with the creepy, spooky, cutesy, but not really. Yeah, almost like Baccarat in that way of like, on the surface, seems like it might be kind of cute. Then you dig in and it's like, oh, that's creepy as hell. Okay, now I'm thinking about things differently.
interesting.
It's not the
Okay.
theme song, the Kiro Kiro Bonito song that you're thinking about, right?
I'm thinking about like the synth
'Cause that's a
ambient
very
music.
different vibe,
No, like when
yeah.
you're walking around and it's like like with the synth. Yeah.
Bug Snacks. And yes, you are correct. November 12th of 2020 is when it came out on PS5.
Wild
It was just a
that
moment.
it was that long ago. But
Luke?
my next pick, I have a couple that I'm jumping around. I think I'm gonna go with a traditional horror pick, but a recent release that I know we all loved on this podcast that I feel like does have to be on this list. I gotta go with Mouthwashing.
Yeah.
Arguably one of the most interesting horror games I've ever played. The story is absolutely insane. Another one that you can unpack for hours, that we have unpacked for hours on this podcast. Another one where the art style is harkening back to that retro PS1 look, but so cool. The audio design is awesome. The puzzles are really interesting. It's a relatively short experience, so I think that's a great one for like a nice fall evening. Headphones on, lock in, come back for our spoiler cast, because what a wild ride that I think this game cemented, like, oh no, I actually am a fan of horror as a genre, just because I think it's that compelling.
This one's less about how can I describe it? Like it's more psychological or mostly psychological and not like in your face horror,
Yeah.
right?
It's an intimate. It's almost like you're like participating in a play. In a sense of like a very small stage, intimate character stories.
Yeah.
But there is like disembodied eye and mouth stuff, right? A
Yeah.
little bit like.
Sure, there is that trigger
messed up
warning. There's
visuals.
definitely some
That's-
messed up visuals. I
that's
think
an
it's
automatic
less
no-no for
about
me,
jump
specifically.
scares and more about like psychological
Unsettling.
thought at large. Like it's more about like unpacking the experience than the like gotcha, that was so scary. There are some jump scares, but it's not for the faint of heart. I will say it's not a. Everyone should read the trigger warnings before they play mouthwashing. Yeah, I would say, but it is a powerful experience.
Anything else on mouthwashing before I throw it to Hoop?
I think all good. Highly recommend.
Okay. Hoop, you're up for Unlucky 13.
All right. Turns out I have more scary games than I thought. I'm pulling out of my bag one of my absolute favorites, Little Nightmares. Little Nightmares. Put it on the list. One of my favorite game franchises in general. Little Nightmares is all about being a weird little person in a big scary world. And it's the perfect tone of just like what's going on. It's not about jump scaring you. It's not about like messing you up mentally. It is kind of like one of those games where you slowly scratch at the surface the more you play it. And by the end, you're like, what the actual hell kind of journey did I go on? And each of these games I've played, Little Nightmares 1 and 2. I will not be playing Little Nightmares 3 because it is not the original studio and it just doesn't have that same vibe as the first two.
It's Supermassive that made that one.
Yeah, sorry, Supermassive. We'll support you on The Quarry. We will not support you on. I will not support you on Little Nightmares 3. But yeah, the first two, fantastic. Short experiences as well. I played the second one co-op with Arsene, my co-host on Player. I think within like a night or 2 nights. And the first one is single player, and both are great. Not too scary, just creepy. And if you are enjoying those, keep an eye out on Reanimal, because I played that demo at Steam Next Fest, and I had to turn it off because I was like, this is too good. I don't want to see any more before I buy the game, because the vibes are just immaculate in those games.
Cool.
So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to play that one for forever. It's like that and, weirdly enough, like Unravel. Because between Unravel and Little Nightmares, those are solo. And then Unravel 2 and Little Nightmares 2 adds co-op. I know, like, Unravel is not a spooky game, but there are weird, like, Yarn Fall vibes to that one. So that's why I liken those two in my mind.
Right on.
Okay, so I'm at 14. So why don't I go and do Scary Game and do a little game called Doki Doki Literature Club.
Ooh, good pick.
Has anyone here played this one?
Yes.
I'm aware of the game and where it goes, I will say.
I played it with Amanda.
Oh,
crazy,
nice.
You know?
Okay. So for folks who haven't played it, it on its face looks like an anime game, an anime dating game where you can date and converse with certain female characters at your school, and then you start to notice that the game is maybe not exactly what it says it is on the surface, and it becomes something much, much more sinister. And it's one of those games that, much like the moment in Metal Gear Solid where Psycho Mantis looks at what's on your memory card, there is that sort of stuff that happens with Doki Doki Literature Club. That if you still have been unspoiled about it, this game must be 10 years old at this point, don't look up anything else. It is October 28th when this comes out. You still have time to play Doki Doki Literature Club before Halloween. It is so worth it. It's real messed up in some ways. Hoop, when you played it with Amanda, did she immediately go, "What are you making me play"?
Kinda, but also I didn't know the twist when I made her play it. Like, we were both in the dark.
No.
So I was like, what the hell? We were like, I feel like we were both like an hour in, and I was like, what the hell? Is there a twist in this game? Like, I literally don't know, because it's a like a dating simulator or whatever for a good bit of the first part of the game. And then when the twist came in, I think we were both down, like, yo, what the hell? Because we watch scary movies all the time, and this was kind of like watching a movie of like what the actual hell is going to happen next. But it does have some like sensitive topics, so that's kind of the only gotcha, which it does give you a warning when you boot it up, so you're not going to be caught completely by surprise either way. But yeah, it gets very weird by the end of it.
Mm-hmm. And I would actually recommend playing it on PC, because I think there's a layer. I don't know, Hoop, did you play it on console or PC?
We played it on PlayStation, because it's on.
Okay.
It was on PS Plus or something like that.
There's some stuff it does that I think you're best to play the PC version.
I think
because
you're
there's
right
like
on
an
that.
added layer of like cool messed up to it.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we move now to our speed round? So what I'd love for y'all to do is we'll go around the horn until we ain't got nothing left. But just say the game and then maybe a little about it, and we'll keep it rolling. So Claire, speed round, pick number 1.
I'm gonna throw out costume quests 1 and 2. It's
Hell yeah.
Halloween. You're trick or treating. There's spooky monsters. You're collecting candy. What's not to love?
Yeah, and I think it's fair that we put both on because they're short enough that is an 8-hour game when you combine them, and they both do different things.
Hell yeah.
Luke.
I'll shout out Resident Evil 2 Remake. I think
Hell
it
yeah.
introduced a ton of people like myself to that series. Great puzzles, scary as hell. Still my favorite of the series that I've played. So I think it hangs.
Hoop.
I'm going to add Inscription. Very, very creative game. Some really interesting live action bits into it as well. And every act in the game is slightly different in how it tries to mess with your head.
I'm going to throw on Gone Home on this list.
Oh, that was one I wanted to add.
That's good.
That was a good one.
If we're
Because
just talking
it's-
about fall
it's-
vibes and like the foreboding.
Yes.
Oh, good. Sorry, good.
Yeah,
I totally
Mr.
cut
If
you
you
off.
don't know anything
Yeah.
going in,
Which
if
you
you don't know
shouldn't.
anything going in, there are kind of horror, spooky, light vibes in there too.
Yes.
So, Gone Home.
That's a good pick. That's a good
Claire.
pick.
Concrete Genie. Cozy,
Ooh.
but also spooky.
I'll never say
but
no
also
to that
beautiful.
being on the list. Get it on there.
Luke, we haven't talked since I bought a physical copy of that
I saw
game.
you post that picture and I was very proud. Very proud. Good game.
We used to,
A proud papa.
right after we moved to California and there was no rain and I missed it so much, I would go and I would paint the rain on the walls and I would just sit and I would stare at
it
it.
was so cozy. What a game. What a great game.
Luke?
I will shout out. Let's go with Fear the Spotlight.
Ooh, okay.
I think could hang on this
Ooh.
list.
Yeah.
That one's tough because I haven't played Crow Country yet, but I have some qualms with the gameplay of Fear the Spotlight, but vibes and tone and art style, immaculate. So I think worth mentioning at the very least.
Hoop.
All right, I'm gonna end this off here, I'm gonna end my list off here with a game that I haven't even really played. This is another playthrough visual game, Alien Isolation. One of my favorite playthrough watches of all time.
I would have said it if you
I
didn't.
was gonna say
Yeah,
it too.
this game nailed it fantastically in terms of like what the hell is going on. This is spooky, tension, all this stuff.
I'm gonna come around, and I'm gonna throw. Oh man, I'm gonna throw PT on this list. You cannot play PT anymore.
No.
But I think what will happen with OD, which is Kojima's latest project, I think he's basically just gonna make the game that he wanted to make when he made a PT,
Yeah.
which was like a playable demo for what might have been Konami's next Silent Hill game. It's gameplay-wise not the best thing, but mood, atmosphere, and the loop it created is a rarefied thing in games. We'll do at least one more round through Claire.
All right, I have like 5 left. Strange horticulture. There we go. Yes, very spooky.
Have you played Strange Antiquities
yet.
yet? Because that's the spiritual
Yes.
successor to this,
I
right?
have not played it yet.
Yeah.
Looks cool though.
Yes.
On my list.
Just came out. Luke.
I don't know if these need to be on the list, but I feel like some zombie representation here would be good. So I'd throw out
Yes.
for consideration Left 4 Dead, Dead Rising, or Dying Light. Somewhere, some combination of those, or one of those.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put Left 4 Dead 2 on there because I would tend
think
to
that's
agree that
the-
that's a very
sure.
important game. And then Dead Rising Remake just came out last year
Sure.
or 2 years ago.
Feels reasonable.
I think that one's good. And then you said the third
I said
was
Dying Light, but I don't.
Dying Light.
That feels more like an honorable mention to me as I'm saying it, so it could be a quick
I'm
cut.
going to put Dying Light 2 on the list.
It's an objectively good game.
Let me throw. Maybe we'll do one more round. Why don't we start with Inside?
I was
I
gonna say
think
or
good
pick, good
Limbo if we need some.
Also,
That's
I
just
lied.
vibes.
I have one more too. Sorry.
So inside, we'll throw on there little dude game, much like Little Nightmares.
Love
all
it.
vibe, goes places in the end. Hoop.
We need another one. Prey. Throw Prey on there. You're on a
Okay.
spaceship. Everybody's gone. There are these fucking mimic creatures that can take the visuals of any item in the game. So you walk in any room and you don't know if there's a damn monster in there. Incredible mechanic.
And I need to put Prey 2017 on here because there are 2 Preys. The other Prey's good. It's just not Prey 2017. Claire.
Slay the Princess.
Ooh, good,
Yes.
good choice.
Cool
Good
pick,
choice.
too.
For those who haven't played it, it's a hand-drawn in pencil, point-and-click adventure game that kind of goes places. Great voice acting. Luke.
At this point, I'm just going to read the couple of picks that I have that we haven't
Yeah.
touched on, and if we want to immediately axe them, all good, but just for the sake of shouting things out, Dead Space, haven't touched on.
Good.
I had Dead Space 2 on my list.
Still Wakes the Deep.
Dead Space 1 or 2?
Ooh.
Which one do you think?
2's probably the best, although that
Dead
remake
Space
that
remake,
it
too.
came out in 2023 of the first one is very good. So if you're going to start with
Let's
anything,
do
that's
one.
kind of a good place to start. Still Wakes the Deep is from the Chinese Room, in the vein of Soma and Amnesia as far as story narrative focused game.
Gotta play that.
It's very good. I had Medieval, the PS4 remake, on there
Yeah.
for Halloween vibes. Doesn't necessarily hang, but it's a fun remake if people want to know who the heck Sir Dan is. And then check me on this one, y'all. What Remains of Edith Finch? Does that
I
fit
thought about
here?
it.
Yeah.
I thought about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then otherwise, I think I'm good.
Okay. Let me run through mine. So we don't have a Silent Hill game on this list yet. So I'm going to go with a Dark Horse pick and actually go with Silent Hill Shattered Memories,
Okay.
Wow.
which is
hell?
that's
the
kind of
hell?
a remake of the
Bro
yeah,
wrote it
that's a
sharded.
remake of the first. It's on PS2 and Wii. I think it might be on new consoles, but I think this was a game that who did who did the rewindy game that we really liked from a couple of years ago? Why can't I remember the
Braid?
No, the one with
game.
the rewindy game?
oh,
It was
oh,
Sam
oh,
Barlow. Sam
um,
Barlow
Oh,
was
Oh my gosh, Immortality. Immortality.
Immortality. So before the trilogy of games that Sam worked on, he was the lead designer and writer on this version of the first Silent Hill game. So I thought I would shout it out.
That's
here.
an interesting
It
fun
has some
fact.
fun. You know how in the Until Dawn, some of the choices that you make can influence what the monsters look like. Silent Hill has that too, where it asks you questions, and then the monsters kind of change their design based on your answers.
Oh, interesting.
I've got 2 more. I've got Buckshot Roulette, just from
Solid.
a ambiance perspective, and then my last one that I want to throw on here is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
I just have to do it. I played it in VR, and it is absolutely the scariest frickin' thing. So
Okay.
I don't think it's the best game, but vibes and in VR, scary as shit. Couldn't do it.
Okay. Solid.
Nice.
Anything else we have on there?
Looking at my list now, I did have Until Dawn, but if we feel more passionately about The Quarry, I don't need to keep it on there. But
gonna
Let's
say it
put
right
it on
now.
there.
There's no way we're whittling this list down.
we're doing it. We're doing
15.
it.
You can whittle it down to
15
31.
games.
31 days in the month of
We
October.
could. 30. Can we get it down to 30?
Yeah, I'm not going to put these on the list, but I do want to shout out My Friendly Neighborhood, which came
Yeah.
out
Sure.
a couple of years ago from Dread XP, which I really liked, and then Condemned 2, I think is an underrated Xbox 360 era spooky game that also goes places. Very different than the first game. So we have 37 games on this list now. Let me read them out, and I think
Jesus.
what we should do is pick some locks. And then some easy cuts, and then maybe we won't land at 13,
We'll
but
see
we'll
what we
land
can
somewhere
do.
in the
We'll do what we
15,
can.
20. So a quick read of these 37 games for the audio listener. Night in the Woods, Baccarat, Dredge, Bioshock, The Quarry, Cult of the Lamb, Alan Wake 2, Crow Country, Signalis, Soma, Bugsnax, Mouthwashing, Little Nightmares, Doki Doki Literature Club, Costume Quest 1 and 2, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Inscription Gone Home, Concrete Genie, Fear the Spotlight, Alien Isolation PT, Strange Horticulture, Left 4 Dead 2, Dead Rising Remake, Dying Light 2, Inside, Prey, Slay the Princess, Dead Space 1 and 2, Still Wakes the Deep, Medieval, What Remains of Edith Finch, Silent Hill, Shattered Memories, Buckshot Roulette, Five Nights at Freddy's, and Until Dawn.
Hell yeah.
Why don't we start with locks and
Locks.
then move to easy cuts, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Sounds good.
I'm going to make some assumptions here for us. Night in the Woods, as the first game on here, I think is on the list. Is that a
I
fair?
think so.
Is that a fair assumption?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just by way of how we all loved it, mouthwashing.
Yeah. Throw it on there.
Okay, those are really the two assumptions that I had.
I thought you were going to hit us with like 10.
No, I mean, I could keep going. Inscription?
Yeah.
I think Cult of the Lamb
If
is
I
a
may,
lock.
I'll throw out a couple.
Sure.
I think Alan Wake 2 is the best game on this list. Objectively, I could make that argument.
That's my lock.
So I think that's
Okay.
a lock. I think Soma, personally,
I'm down.
just because I think it's the best one of that style that we have on this list. And if it's like a definitive, you should play these games, like I think that is on the list for me personally.
I feel like Cult of the Lamb is a lock.
I loved Cult of the Lamb.
I love it,
Put it
but
up
I
there.
love other things more, but I am down. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me it being a lock.
Okay. Hoop, any that you think should be a lock here?
I mean, honestly, Bioshock would be mine. I just feel like
Yep,
when we're talking
that's
about
fair.
classics, it's like one of the tale as old as time kind of video game classics.
Especially since we expanded the definition of like best game to play in October,
Sure.
I would say
Yeah.
that fits.
Similar lines, totally different vibe. Costume Quest. I
Yes.
think,
I mean, this
like by
Is it
definition,
Halloween
this
game?
is the month
Game,
you play
yeah.
that game, and it's very good.
Anything else on here that we think absolutely must be on?
Resident Evil 2? Question mark? Or is that just a me pick? It's cool if it's just a me pick.
I mean, it does fit this category quite well. I played it and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, so did I. And I thought about it. I'm like, what belongs on this list? Is it 2? Is it 4? Is it 7?
They're all good.
They're all good, but I think having Mr. X chase you for basically the entire
Yeah.
game
That
is
is
such a cool thing and
Yeah.
so scary.
I also
Yeah.
think that one has the best puzzles of the remake ones that I've played.
Mhm.
Which I think for someone coming into it who isn't interested in being scared, like I think the puzzles pull you along in a nice way.
I think 2 is a better entry point than 4
I agree.
Yeah,
now
I would agree.
in
Yeah.
2025. Just because it's shorter too. Like you can do a playthrough in 5 or 6 hours, right?
Yeah, and 4 is
of
more
one
actiony.
story. Yes.
I think looking at the rest of this list, my mind immediately goes into like, okay, what categories of subgenre are we not currently representing? And then I try to fill those holes. I don't know if that's a logical approach.
No, let me just say. So I think Night in the Woods is fall. Is Cult of the Lamb?
Spooky?
How would you define that?
Cutesy
Let's say
spooky?
Yeah,
Spooky,
cozy,
yeah.
spooky, or
Cozy,
yeah.
spooky?
Yeah.
Cozy, spooky. Bioshock is atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Costume Quest is literally
Halloween.
the Halloween
Yeah.
game.
Halloween.
Resident Evil 2 is atmosphere as well, or is that like a that's
I'd
I'd
a
say
horror
Yeah.
that's our survival horror
Yeah.
pick. I think.
survival horror?
Maybe.
Duh, the genre. Yes. Soma is also survival horror.
Yeah, or you could say like narrative, similar with mouthwashing, I guess, of like horror narrative.
And is Alan Wake 2 atmosphere? Or is that like an actual horror game?
It's an actual horror game, but it's kind of all encompassing
Is it
of like the
atmosphere slash
narrative
horror?
and yeah, it all.
Both. All of the
That's
above.
why I would make a strong case for that one to be included because I think it works in multiple angles, if you will.
Can I make a suggestion
Sure.
here? Looking at this list, I think The Quarry
Yeah,
fits
that was my
I was
next.
gonna
with what we
suggest
don't
it.
have
Yep.
here. Okay. let me add the quarry in. So we're at 9. So we are at Mouthwashing, Night in the Woods, Alan Wake 2, Soma, Call to the Lamb, Bioshock, Costume Quest 1 and 2, Resident Evil 2, The Quarry. That's 9.
Okay.
Are there any here that we can just, say goodbye to? We can let our children go.
I feel
I
like
mean,
Bug Snacks and Strange Horticulture are easy to get rid of those for me as my picks.
I'm good to cut Medieval and Dying Light 2. Not as passionate about those in comparison to others.
Claire, you had just said Strange Horticulture.
Yeah.
What was the second?
Bug Snacks,
Bug Snacks, thank you.
It's up there.
Hoop, any
We
you can let go?
yeah, we can cut Prey off of there. I'm trying to see what else I suggested. Dang, I don't want to let go of Little Nightmares.
I'll go and cut Five Nights at Freddy's off this list. And then I'm also good to let Buckshot Roulette go too.
That works. Solid experience. I'm good to cut Until Dawn if we have the Quarry. I think we represent that genre. Like, if you like that style of game, go play all of Supermassive's games.
Yeah.
But they don't all need to be on the list.
I'm there with you. Hoop, you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Has anyone here played Silent Hill 2?
I have
Not yet, no.
It's on my
I
list
haven't
to
either.
get to at some point. I've never played a Silent Hill game, period, so I defer
Neither have
to
I.
you if one should be.
I mean, ultimately, this is our
Yeah.
list. So if we're like, we can't hit everything, I'm good to let both PT and Silent Hill Shattered Memories go. Just because you can't play PT today.
From what I
Yes.
know of
Yeah.
PT, if I was able to play it, I think it would hang, and if we could recommend it to folks, it would make sense.
Not being able to play it is pretty big.
Yeah. Question for the group as we're looking at the rest of
Yes.
these. With things like Gone Home, What Remains of Edith Finch, I love those games so much. How do we feel about them in relation to this like category ranking specifically? Because in terms of like if I was ranking just like favorite games
Yeah.
of these, they would definitely be in the mix, but
Are they spooky enough? Are they October enough?
I don't know, because they kind of are.
Yeah.
But
Gone Home definitely is. I feel like What Remains of Edith Finch is a little more of a game where there are spooky elements, but there are a lot of points in that game which aren't spooky at all, that are just fun.
yeah,
Or
I think that's
whimsical.
fair. Whimsical, yeah.
So I think maybe what you're saying is like one, not both.
I'm good with that.
I mean,
I'm good with that.
Yeah. I think Gone Home is a good game where you're playing it and you're not getting super fucked up about the concept. It is more on the lower spectrum of like Halloween thing where you can play it without having to deal with psychological terror or scary darkness monsters, stuff like that, or grotesque things happening. Which is
Also,
why
it's
I
way less
endorse it.
sad.
Yeah.
It's Edith
Yeah.
Finch goes some places that are.
sure.
Oh yeah, Edith.
Messed
I thought you were like Gone Home is just less sad than everything.
No.
That's pretty sad still.
Gone Home sad too, but
Sure.
Yeah, Edith Finch is kind of depressing.
Okay.
so do I want to just take between the two of them a poll? Who between the two of them, Claire, are you Gone Home or Edith Finch?
I have not played either, so
Crazy. That's
Ooh.
the
Claire,
craziest thing.
Please,
Please
Claire.
play
Sounds like
them
you're gonna play Gone Home this
both.
week.
he's been
Please.
trying to get me to for a long time.
Oh,
we just
I would love
Yeah, I
to.
feel like you will love them.
Yeah, no, they're totally her type of game. It's just one of those of like you missed it at the time,
Yeah.
and then have
Yeah.
not doubled
and then
back.
it's in the backlog, which
Yeah.
is 500
Ever
games
expanding.
long. So
Yeah, no, it's fair. Yeah, I'm good with Gone
Luke?
Home over Edith Finch.
Hoop.
Same.
I think that the
Yeah,
uneasy feeling you have playing Gone Home fits this category more.
I'm wholly with you that I like Edith Finch more than Gone
Same,
Home,
but
but I think Gone Home not only is a shorter experience, and I would almost say like a more singular experience, and then became kind of the prototype for a lot of walking sim go look at object kind of games.
Mhm.
I think it's such a singular force in atmosphere, and like you don't really know what the hell the game is about even until the very
Right.
end.
Yeah.
Like
You
what it's
think
really
it's one
about.
thing,
Until the very
then
end.
yeah, truly. I can make a couple quick cuts from things I picked if we're all cool with it. Still Wakes the Deep, I think is real solid.
I want to
It's
play.
really
it.
good. If you like Soma, if you like Amnesia, if you like any of those games, I think it's the Chinese Room's best game, arguably, but doesn't necessarily need to hang. And then similar thing with Left 4 Dead 2 and Dead Rising Remake. Personally, I wanted to shout them out because I think they deserve a mention, and like if those are your type of game, kind of deal. But I would put other things that we have outstanding over those, personally.
I don't know. Dead Rising is a pretty.
It's awesome. I loved it.
It's a game that hasn't been replicated.
True.
Also, I kind of want to leave it on
Okay.
for a little longer, but I am good with Left 4
Okay.
Dead 2.
Works for me.
Let me ask the question around Concrete Genie. Claire.
I feel like of the three of mine that are still on the bullet point list, Concrete Genie is the one I would keep over the other two.
Okay.
Just because I do feel like our list so far doesn't have as much of the representation of the cozy spooky and like atmospheric, but not horror atmospheric, but like just peaceful with a little bit of spooky kind of atmospheric, if that makes sense. Like Sweater Weather. It's a sweater weather game. Slay the Princess is really cool. And so is Baccarat. They're both doing something different. But yeah, of the three, I would put Concrete Genie on this list over the other two. So if you want to cut the other two, go for it.
Okay. Luke, you played Concrete Genie. You think it's one of your faves? Not one of your faves, but it's one you fight for a lot.
It is one I fight for a lot. I wouldn't necessarily fight for it here, but I think if Claire has, amidst her picks, I've played the other two picks as well, and I can see it hanging, but I think when we're talking about that sweater weather, like more on the cozy side, I would almost lean Dredge of those indies to move up, but I think Concrete Genie can hang. I'm cool with that.
But yeah,
I defer to Claire
Okay,
kind of
I'm
on that one of
totally
like,
fine to take Baccarat and Slay the Princess off, though, if no one else objects.
great games.
Good games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Baccarat, Slay the Princess is very, very kind of psychological horror to it.
Yeah.
I haven't played it since they added. It's called the Pristine Cut.
Yeah.
What's the thing where they added a bunch
And
of
then
stuff?
it came to
I've not
console
touched
as
it since
well. I
then.
haven't either.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's just put sweater weather picks. So that was
And Dredge.
Concrete Genie and Dredge were kind of those sweater weather picks. Let me just put them in a list here. Can I make a suggestion just to be added straight to the list? How do we feel about Inscription going right on the list?
Probably should be there if we're being objective.
It's a good one.
We can move this list to
It's
15
pretty unique.
also.
Yeah, I mean, wait, was it not 15 to start with?
I think we were going for
No, it's
13 just
13.
because it
Oh,
was
yeah.
a fun spooky number.
Oh,
but
right.
We don't have
Right,
rules
right,
here.
I still think we could save ourselves a lot of headache and just make it 31.
I mean, Claire's not wrong.
Because of Halloween, good.
Oh,
That's
31
pretty
days in
good.
October?
That's pretty good. Well, we might be there now in that case.
No, I think right now we have
under
2,
31 for
4,
sure.
6, 8, 10. We have 13 more games.
So we have like 26.
We have,
Or
We have
put that old
23
stuff back on.
Put it all back. Run it back. Well, let's at the very least. How about this? How about we get our top 13 or 15 or however we want to do it, and then we just stop there. We don't have to like quote unquote cut the rest, but we just have our top rankings.
How do we feel? I'm putting Inscription on the list. How does that
That looks
look?
correct.
How does
I
that
like it.
feel?
I think Inscription deserves to be there. Did you guys play Alien Isolation? I didn't
I
actually play it.
did.
I just watched it.
I did.
The whole thing all the way through?
It's been a minute, so that's a hard question.
Because I'm with you where I
I
played
want
it
to
like
say I
maybe a
played
couple of hours.
3 hours, and then I felt like it got
Yep.
repetitive and samey. But man, that intro, like 2 hours, is such a good 2 hours.
Can you name, maybe besides Resident Evil 2, like another game where Big Thing chases you for, or like very, very scary thing is omnipresent the whole game? It's like RE2 and 3, and then Alien Isolation. It's all I can really think
I
of.
guess there's like the Amnesia series that does that. But that would be another wrinkle to add to this list. That said, I would put the Resident Evil games over Amnesia personally. But another one we might want to poke at. I feel like there is a.
I'm good to let Alien Isolation go.
I'm cool with that.
Same.
It's good. And if you like the Alien movies, and if you're watching the Hulu show and stuff, like, it's a solid game that's constantly on sale. I think it might be on Game Pass as well. But I was gonna poke at the PS1 style retro game trio of Crow Country, Signalis, Fear the Spotlight. Of those 3, I've only played Fear the Spotlight, but I would be okay to cut it. Because I think while that game has immaculate style and tone and audio direction, I found the gameplay and puzzle solving pretty straightforward and didn't like blow me away. And just based on the way Hoop talks about Crow Country and Signalis, I think those are stronger picks for the list.
Mm-hmm. I played Fear the Spotlight as well, and beyond what you've said, agree. I think the confrontations with enemies in that game is annoying.
Yeah.
And I almost wish there were
the
no
boss fighty
enemy
stuff
encounters
is not.
because it makes
Yeah.
Oh,
You don't want it.
No, don't like.
I don't
Get it
disagree.
out
I don't want it.
here.
It's a cool game though, and like if you like
Cool game.
the other 2 games we've mentioned, I think you should. It's definitely worth playing, but.
I was the only person who was fighting for Dead Rising remake. I'm looking at this list and looking at what's left, and I'm like, I'm okay with letting Dead Rising remake go.
It's one of the 31 in my mind. Like, it's a very
Yes,
good
it is.
game, and if you want a zombie, just fun, dumb game, very solid.
But back to your point around the PS1 games, Crow Country, Signalis, Hoop, you'd probably put Crow Country over Signalis, right?
100%. Yeah.
I say throw it up there, personally, just based on Hoop's passion. I think it hangs.
And then are we cutting Signalis then?
Yeah. Get it out of here.
Okay.
Bye-bye, Signalis.
Let's make this list 15,
Okay.
and that way we only have to cut, we have 7 games left, we only have to cut 4 of them. So our 7 remaining games, Concrete Genie, Dredge, Slay the Princess, Little Nightmares, Doki Doki Literature Club, Inside, Dead Space 1 and 2. 4 of them have to go, 3 stay.
I feel like as someone who hasn't played it, Little Nightmares should be on this list.
Yeah, that's...
I've not played it, but I've wanted to for a very long time.
It's goated. You guys need to get on it for sure. Another one of those like maybe 3-hour games with an ending, which I'm surprised people don't talk about the ending more. It is kind of like a little plot twist. What the hell is going on type moment.
Dead Space 1 and or 2. Real good.
They're real good.
Real necromorphs,
They are
real
good.
real creepy.
Classic horror game.
Can I ask the classic question? If we were
Yes.
each going to pick
Luke
one
Lewis.
game to move up, what's that one game right now as it stands?
Mine is Doki Doki
Okay.
because I think it's fills a gap that's not on the list right now.
Okay.
Dead Space.
Dead Space, Claire,
Concrete Genie.
Concrete Genie, and I would say Dredge. Okay, so we're not quite...
Fantastic.
Inside and Slay the Princess are, but Inside and Slay the Princess,
yeah.
no one. So,
So,
those
yeah,
so
go.
so I
take
think
those
that's
off.
a fair...
Okay. So now we have Concrete Genie, Dredge, Doki Doki Literature Club, Dead Space 1 and 2.
Put them on
Oop,
there.
I
Put
would
'em- put
I
'em
would
all on
power I would combine with you and let Dead Space go for Doki Doki Literature Club.
there. Actually, yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Then that means it's between Claire and Luke to decide between Concrete Genie and Dredge.
Oof.
Wait.
You're the
Oh, yeah, you
tie-breaking
did it, you
vote,
did.
I feel like.
Because I've played both extensively.
You've finished both.
I mean,
I've played both too, but
I-
not as much.
This
as
is
you.
no shade to Concrete Genie, one of my absolute favorite games. I have podcasted about this game many a time. I think it's got to be Dredge for me because it's one that I think it fits the category so well. It's one I still won't go back to periodically with their updates. The game is just so much fun. It's my favorite indie in recent years. Like, I personally like Dredge more than Concrete Genie, even if I would to say.
Okay.
But I don't want to...
Let me poke at it one time. For an October game,
Concrete Genie
which one
has
is best?
magic.
That is right. We have no magic on this list.
The little guys.
They both have
It's pretty.
that fall vibe, I would say.
Youth, childhood. I've made my case.
Okay, all right. Dredge is honorable 16. It's fine.
Do we just make it 16 friends, and that way we have a unique SEO title for this YouTube video?
Sure.
There it is.
Do it.
There it is, friends.
Love it.
We did it. We started at a different concept and a different number for this episode, but we have now landed. These are the best 16 games to play in October for your horror, spooky fall vibes. Mouthwashing, Night in the Woods, Alan Wake 2, Soma, Call to the Lamb, Bioshock, Costume Quest 1 and 2. We're considering that a package. Resident Evil 2 Remake, The Quarry Gone Home, Inscription, Crow Country, Little Nightmares, Doki Doki Literature Club, Concrete Genie, and Dredge. This is a hell of a list,
I'm
ladies and
impressed.
gentlemen.
I will say, too,
impressed.
we didn't rank the order specifically, like, intentionally, but I don't mind this ranking.
I feel like we kind of did because we took the ones we feel most strongly about
Sure,
first.
yeah.
So
I just meant, like, we
it
didn't
ended up that way.
specifically be like, this
Yeah.
should be number 4 or what have you, but I think it tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There are very few adjustments I would make here.
same. This is a solid list. Well done,
Damn.
everyone. Round of
We did it.
applause. Round of
Random
spooky
fact
applause.
before we end the episode. Soma, I've been looking to see if I own it anywhere. I own it on PlayStation, and right now on PlayStation it's $4.50. So
Oh my
Slam
god.
dunk. That's
if you
so
want to go
worth it.
buy
Yeah,
it and play
please.
it, go do it.
Is there a physical? I don't think there's a physical of that one.
I think there was actually. I want to say
Holy
there was
shit,
like
I
a
fumbled.
Switch re-release or something that Limited Run did. Could be wrong.
Yep, you're totally right that there
God,
was
what is
a
my brain?
Smart.
What is my brain,
Smart.
y'all? Oh,
and it was kickstarted. And when was the last time we got an update about that? Oh, look at that! It was kickstarted in October of 2025.
okay. That's
There you go.
why I remember because it's recent.
Yeah, and it already
is
hit
very,
its goal.
very-
Wow.
It's actually not even fully funded
shit.
yet. Look
That's
at that, Luke.
insane.
It's in the news.
Very cool.
Also,
very cool.
another thing before we wrap, I just want to apologize that I did not bring up Oxenfree. That is up there for my
Oh.
spooky games. I love that game. Sorry, Oxenfree.
30-second
I noticed it.
best spooky game to play in October. I
I
heard.
was looking at my GOG library, and I was like, do I own Soma and GOG? No, but I do have Oxenfree here. Rip Oxenfree.
The only thing I kept a little list here. The only thing I didn't say out loud was Virtue's Last Reward.
That's a
but I feel
cool
like I'm
game
the
too.
only Nonary Games sicko.
Say that again?
Who would like fight Nonary Games?
Virtual.
Virtue's Last Reward.
That was like the
Oh, I've never even heard of
999
that.
peeps.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
I've never
Danganronpa
played it.
could
Yeah,
have also
I've
been
never
on here.
played it, but it sounds cool as hell.
Interesting.
It is a game that I wholeheartedly recommend that you kind of have to get through 999, which is like an okay game, until the end where it goes places and you realize what it is.
Sure.
And then Virtue's Last Reward just is, it's anime bananas. It's so crazy.
Go.
That was a cool list though, because now I feel inspired to go play the handful of games that I haven't
Yeah.
played, or like the different. We had some good pitches. I feel
Yeah.
like.
We sure did. And hey, that's our episode for this week. We've just got a couple episodes left in 2025. It's wild that we're basically into November. Anything y'all want to promote, talk about before we close down this year's show?
Nothing for the moment. Bunch of cool content.
Yeah.
We got some fun things cooking that we'll put out in the next couple weeks. So stay tuned. Good vibes.
Stay tuned. So until then, friends, please do 4 things for us. 1, follow us on BlueSky. We are cross-play convos. You can find us that way. Number 2, subscribe on YouTube because we are trying to get this number up to the triple digits, and we are so close. So if you're listening to this and you've not subscribed to YouTube, you can find some cool exclusive short-form content and long-form content on there that you can't get anywhere else. Send this podcast to a friend because that's how people hear about podcasts, and give us a review on your podcasting platform of choice because it truly helps. And then, my friends, is the end of the episodes. So eat some candy, rot your teeth, and surprise your brain with some great spooky horror cozy fall games. Goodbye.
Bye.